Hi, this is Dan Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you to the Multiplier Mindset Podcast. Today, our Free Zone Frontier story is Rod Gibbings. And Rod lives in beautiful, beautiful Kelowna, BC. And if you've not been there, it's a wonderful lake. It's kind of in the middle of a desert, and partially it's beautiful forests, and it's wine country. It's the center of the British Columbia wine country. Rod is a financial advisor, and the thing that made him so excited about Strategic Coach the moment he heard it was the entrepreneurial time system. As many of you know, or you're about to find out right now, the entrepreneurial time system is for entrepreneurs, and it consists of dividing your year into just 3 kinds of days: free days, focus days, and buffer days. So the way we look at it, you got 365 days. They go from midnight till midnight, and you can look at any of those days as just a free day, which you don't do any work whatsoever, a focus day where everything is focused on making money, and the third day, which we call a buffer day, is a backstage day. It's not a free day, it's not a focus day, but you can do planning, you can do cleanup, you can do learning, make all sorts of improvements. And this gives you a tremendous flexibility in how you lead your life. So Rod says the moment he heard it, it just made complete sense, joined the program and immediately implemented it. And he said now more than half his year is free days. I think the number is 184 free days. And Russell Schmidt, who's a 25-year coach, associate coach and strategic coach, said he's never seen a client who totally implemented the time system as fast as Rod did. And the whole point is that what this does, it gets you freedom of time from the way that the rest of the world organizes its time. So entrepreneurs can have free days anytime they want. They can have a focus day anytime they want. They can have a buffer day anytime they want. They can put 2 or 3 of them together. They can do them in the middle of the week. They can do focus days on Saturday and Sunday if they want. They can do free days on Thursday and Friday if they want, or Wednesday. They may have thought that tomorrow was going to be one kind of day, and they said, no, I'm going to turn it into another kind of day. And the best entrepreneurs using the time system just have numbers of how many free days for the whole year, how many focus days for the whole year, and buffer days, and then they just keep organizing their time so that at the end of the year, that's the number of each of those days that they've had. Complete flexibility. Doesn't have anything to do with anyone else's time system. Doesn't have to do with how other people organize their time. Entrepreneurs, the number one freedom of the 4 freedoms in Strategic Coach is freedom of time, which then gives you freedom of money, which then gives you freedom of relationship, and then gives you freedom of purpose. So that's the real freedom and the basis, but the very first freedom that you have to master in Strategic Coach program is freedom of time, free days, focus days, and buffer days.
So my name is Rod Gibbings. I'm from West Kelowna here in British Columbia, and I've been part of Strategic Coach. This is the end of my 5th year. And I came to Strategic Coach because I was frustrated. I was a frustrated entrepreneur. So I'm a wealth manager, a private wealth manager, and I had felt that there was more to my life than what I was doing, and hit the wall, right? I think stuck is probably the word that's best utilized. And I came to Coach, and it was the answer that I actually was looking for, and it freed me. There was always a lack of fulfillment for me, and part of that is knowing who you are. And I felt that I drifted from that, and I was being more reactive to what I thought I should be versus then being true to myself. So, and when you do that, you never quite feel the success you should have, right? And so success is measured in many different ways. But I will tell you some of the things that have happened. So, the entrepreneurial time system was just a no-brainer. As soon as I heard it, it was instant. I mean, instant. I don't know if it took me an hour to implement that into our team. And it took them a while to understand it, but I saw the energy release immediately from it, and results took off. So, if I look back over 5 years, our business is more than double the size, probably closer to 2.5 times the size, and income has 4 times just in those 5 years. Because one of the things that immediately happened, right, with the entrepreneurial time system, somebody said to me, obviously Russell, said, if you want to double your income, you have to take twice the time off. It was very clear because that actually ties into probably what my unique ability is, which is the ability to manage energy and to use it, because time away is also very creative for me. And so while I may not be in the office or I may not be engaged, it doesn't mean that you're not recognizing or thinking. And all of a sudden you come back with new ideas, new creativity that enhances the value proposition. When I talk about the entrepreneurial time system, I talk about energy, because it's the use of your personal energy in order to maximize the benefit of each day. So in coach, you learn to talk about free days, and free days turns out the hardest day to have, right? Because they're the ones where you truly are not engaged in business 24 hours, no work emails, no business reading, no nothing. You are fully engaged in relaxation, having fun, relationships. And so that is probably the biggest day that you can ever have, is the free day. And in order to have a free day, you then have to have a focus day, right? So you need your highest energy. So from energy for focus days, it's doing what you do naturally and do best, which is make money within your business. I know that traditionally in those kind of days in the past, I would have had, client meetings during those days, but I also would have been taking care of, so I would say, office maintenance. And they're very, very different energies. Office maintenance has your focus one direction, which is to make sure the practice is operating. But working with your clients, I wasn't always going in with my best. So dividing up the entrepreneurial time system, energy from free days, and then focus days, which is just for us, purely client driven. And it's a high energy. That's not a hard day to have, because that's your fun day. That's what you do best with your clients. But then you need a day to prepare, which is what they call the buffer day. I've always likened it to a sports analogy. Football players in the NFL, they only play one game a week, but they practice 5 days a week, right? So buffer days are the practice day, right? Then you got the game day, but they also have to rest their bodies. So it's exactly the same energy. This year our business results are about 28% above last year. So every year has been a record year. So we're 28% above last year, which is phenomenal. And I will end the year with 184 free days. I almost could divide life like pre-coach, post-coach, right? Before I started, my free days I would be distracted. I'd be thinking about what's coming up maybe on Monday or Tuesday, or what's going to happen through the week. So I maybe wasn't as interactive with my family as I should have been, particularly my spouse, because that's always the closest, but also with my kids. I have 4 kids. Today, it's as tight a unit as I could ever possibly imagine. My spouse really understands the value of the free days, and she understands that sometimes the free days may be a little bit what I thought would be selfish, right? But what my wife really wants is she wants me to also to be relaxed, right? And to have the most fun that I can. So we really have an amazing relationship where she really gets the entrepreneurial time system. Like, she gets it because she's seen the results of it. She sees it around the family, the kids see it. But yet, as an entrepreneur, you are the vision, right? And so if you don't have time to live through the vision, how does the practice ever evolve? How does business ever evolve? And some people, I think, come to that naturally. I think that many people who are very successful entrepreneurs, very young, they just intuitively have done that. But the vast majority find a limit. And being an entrepreneur is not about limits. It's about dreaming. And in order to dream, you do have to have some structure, and that's what Strategic Coach does. It gives you all of the freedom you want and as much as you want. It's life-changing. That's the truth. Some amazing things have happened during this journey. One of them is with the company that I have. Most of the things that I have created as far as what I would call value delivery systems are being emulated by the company and being rolled out nationally. So I think Dan said probably one of the greatest compliments you'll ever get is, somebody who is copying you. And I would say before, I probably would have felt a scarcity mindset around that, where in fact, this is not the case at all, because actually what they are doing, because I'm involved in it, is actually bigger and better than what I would have done, right? Because what created that will also, it'll just keep growing, right? So the tools that matter the most for me, obviously entrepreneurial time system, the impact filter is a very big one, a very big one. We live with the impact filter, and we really live with the experience transformer as well, because I used to only think about negative outcomes and why didn't we? Where I really found value with the experience transformer is the good things that happened as well. How do we make it even, bigger, better? The things that have changed have been the relationships with our clients and within our clientele. We're very much described as a family. that's recognizing what unique ability is, right? And why people are attracted to us. They're attracted to us by our value proposition. It's not just by what we do, because in our world, it is very much commoditized. So what we're able to do with us is provide a value proposition that makes people feel like they've never felt before. We hear it all the time. Our clients are featured on our national websites now. Like our practice clients are the one they're using in national advertising because they're such incredible advocates. We're in control of who we deal with. We're in control with why we deal with them. The way that I literally see it is that every new client that we bring on, we are very, very selective, and we do talk about it in a meaningful way because we've written that out and we do share it with our clients. The people we're bringing on are like our best friends before we knew them. That's a pretty good way to go to work.
So when entrepreneurs who are not in Strategic Coach first hear what you can do with this time system, they say, I don't know how that's possible. And the one that really gets them, I have to tell you, I said, if you wanted to double your income right now, you'd have to start by doubling the number of free days you took. And this is almost violation of the laws of gravity as far as they're concerned. No, I'd have to work twice as long. And I said, oh, no. You're at the ceiling now. You can't get any more productivity. You're already working too long, and you could only get worse from now on. But if you started taking a lot more free time, your mind would be refreshed, your enthusiasm would be refreshed, you would get new ideas. But meantime, when you're on free days, you would have to have really good team members who actually do all the work that you've been doing. So consequently, more and more, instead of just being kind of a lone entrepreneur doing everything, you become an entrepreneurial owner who has a team. But the only thing that will motivate you to do this is the opportunity to have more and more free time. And then when you are working, just working on focus days on the most important activities. So in Rod's case, he's doubled the number of team members that he has. And he's done that because he's quadrupled his income while at the same time taking 184 free days. And we have thousands of other individuals, entrepreneurs who've done the same thing. So this just goes against the workaholic manifesto of the world. We're just totally opposed that to get really, really better, 10 times better, you got to become 10 times more freed up with your time. Think if you're frustrated the way you're operating right now and you don't have enough time and you're getting worn out by having to work all the time. Is it going to get any better? I mean, if you don't change anything a year from now or 3 years from now, is it going to get any better? I think you're going to get more tired out and frustrated. So give it a try. The best way to give it a try is to join Strategic Coach. And in the very first workshop, when you come in here, we'll show you how to immediately increase your freedom of time with a new time system, free days, focus days, and buffer days.